Ignite, from dreams to reality.
My question, Ma, is you said something about you started with interface technology and then secured ID. Now, while you're trying to get investors for secured ID, you must have presented your records with interface technology, right? Okay. Now, my question is, those partners for secured ID, is it the same company? Is it the same name for these two? I don't know if you're getting the way I'm structuring the question. Yeah, is it the same? Because you started on your own. Do you now have to bring all your assets? They calculated it, and then that is your own investment, and those ones now added their own investment to form secured ID. Then the second question is issues where we've heard of people being scammed with their cards and stuff like that. Does it boils down back to you? And if it boils back down to you, how have you been able to handle issues where the financial loss is so huge?
My name is Rotimi Taiwo. Concerning partnership, now in a situation whereby you intend to partner with somebody who has a larger share, let's assume 60%, and is trying to dictate what you need to do, how you need to go about it. So in other words, in a situation like that, what do you need to do? Do you try to separate from that kind of partner, or how do you walk away? Or how do you settle the situation? Thank you.
The question I want to ask you is that you said you got a banking job and you are well paid, despite the fact that you are not placed at the right place in the bank. Now, my question is that I'm surprised. The reason why you leave the job whereby you have not gotten another job. And how will you be able to cope? You know, going home, and you are well paid. You go home for some time. That kind of situation, many of us also fall into it. But the problem is that where are we going to get money from? You said you don't have any idea on ground while you are still working in the bank. My own idea is that why can't you acquire money first, then think of what you can use that money for? Why can't you acquire money first, then think of what you can use the money for before leaving the job? If at all you want to leave the job, I think you must have something on ground.
Okay, we get you. Thank you. Okay. All right, Kofu, you want to start with?
Okay, let me start with how was I able to get investors, and you know how did I do it? Yes, obviously, as I said, Interface had developed a name for itself and was going to the next level, and so Interface had had savings, okay, but of course that savings was not sufficient to create secure ID. All right, and so going to address potential investors, you know, they too could see that Interface was putting their all into secure ID as a sign that we as well believe in the project. And not just that, but the fact that you do your business plan well. Make sure you look at all the risk. Make sure, because the investors I was presenting to are very experienced, you know, so you do it extremely well. There is no one, and then with the track record you've had, there's no one that wouldn't, if they are able to, they would want to invest in it, you know. So yes, Interface put some of its money in, or all of its money in, and we were able to get investors to come in, and then the balance of it was being financed by a bank, you know. But I would say that it was more equity than debt at the time. Okay. Now, your second question was, yes, on the scams. Yes. Now, what we do, yes, we produce the cards for the bank, and we even actually do the pins, you know, from the same facility. And that's why it's a very high security facility. I mean, it's a factory that nobody's allowed to enter. We do not have a signboard outside. We have to take your fingerprints before you go in, your picture. You have to sign some agreements before you go in. Every one of our staff have a police record, and we do that continually. There's so many rules. We don't have windows in the factory. You know, it's almost like a large prison. You know, so it's really, really highly secure. And then we have external auditors come and audit us every single time to ensure that our processes follow global standards, to ensure that physically the whole place is, you know, controlled. The cameras are looking, there are human counters counting the number of people in every, so it's really highly secure, and those are the certifications that we had to get. But we are audited twice or 3 times a year to be sure that we're doing the right thing. The next question was on partnership. It's important that, you know, you're talking about partners, you know, because I have investors, which, okay, they're partners as well, but they're non-executive directors, they're non-executive investors of the company.
I think we need to explain the difference between
let me explain the difference, because I don't have a partner, but I have investors. So I have a board of directors. They're non-executive directors. That means that they're not involved in the day-to-day management of the company. Now, if I have a partner, it means that that partner is also an executive of the company. Okay, so I don't have a partner. But there's nothing wrong in having partners. But choose a partner for the right reason.
Let me just add for partnership,
Yeah.
okay? There's certain rules you need to follow. And one of the ways to be able to start a business that you can't afford on your own, at a larger level, we can raise investors who are not necessarily partners. You understand? Because what it is you develop your business idea, you have a certain amount of money that you have, but it's not enough. Most right businesses have what you call a debt and equity ratio. But the equity part of it, you split up between you and other investors. But if you're smart, what you do is, if you decide your business is going to be 60% equity and 40% debt, the 40% debt means it's a loan from a bank or any other kind of institution. The 60% equity means is your money, which is a percentage, and you can make the 60% 30% of you, and the remaining 30% can be 10, 10, 10 of 3 people, which gives you the other 30%. So you have your total of 60%, and the rest of the money you need is 40% loan, which will be paid for by the business. Which means even though you've structured the business as 30, 10, 10, 10, and you've gotten 30% equity from other people, you're still the largest shareholder in the business. You do that sometimes in order to protect the system from those kind of issues. And they're not involved in management. That's the investment nature. Now, when it comes to clear partnerships, the real issues that are important, and there's nothing wrong with partnerships. Traditionally in this country, we have many bad experiences of partnerships. But that's only because a lot of people don't do their homework. Now, just because you have an idea and somebody else has the money, doesn't make that person the ideal partner for you. Money does not define the partnership, because partnership is only equivalent to a marriage. In partnership, 2 people want to become one. What one does, he's doing on behalf of the other as well. Every action of one reflects as the action of the other, because the 2 people that are partners in a business represent one business, and so they are one. So in that case, will you marry just anybody? If you will not marry just anybody, when it comes to partnership, you have a responsibility to first check that even though you sound like you have the same vision, do you really have the same vision? Is your short-term, your medium-term, and your long-term goals, are they the same? Do you have the same reason for wanting to set up the business. For one person, it's just for money. For another, it's for legacy. You already have two different goals because your considerations for a business driven by money and a business driven by a long-lasting name is different. Many issues when it comes to partnership, but what is most important is you must have self-respect, and in going into partnership, do not allow yourself to be driven just by money. Therefore, you undersell yourself. You must define what you want clearly from the onset and have it all written down and agreed. One practical way that I say to people is, you take a pen and paper. Tell the other guy to take a pen and paper. You both write. What are you looking for in this partnership? Write it down. You write your own. Then go back to a meeting and sit down and say, item 1, what do you require from this business concerning this? You say your own, you say your own. Do they align? If they align, yes, you tick it. If they don't, you have a problem. Discuss that issue until you reach an agreement. You go down the line on every issue. Once you can resolve all of those issues, then you can take a decision as to whether, including who will be chief executive, who will be executive director. You might be technically sound, but you can't face people to save your life. You have no business wanting to be CEO of that business, even if you have 70% shareholding. You should be the guy that's at the background. The one who is better at human relationship marketing, PR, and all that should be the face of the company. And is probably better as CEO, even if he's the 40% shareholder in the business. What is important is you want to use all that you have together to build a successful business. But if you don't answer all the questions from the beginning, you miss it. And you must do this before money comes. Because once money comes into a partnership, that's usually where problem comes, especially when the issues have not been clearly stated. There's nothing wrong with partnership, but generally, people don't do their homework. Still doesn't mean that after you've done all of this, you will not have a problem. You can, and sometimes you will, but your commitment to the goals that you have both committed to will help you to resolve those issues. Thank you.
Yeah, well said. I'll take your question about, gosh, how could you leave without any
leave a bank
without
job?
any plan? Yes, it was a very, the move was a very brave, very, very brave move. But you know, success is knowing your talent at the right time and at the right age. Knowing when to move. If you have all the money in the world and you don't know your talent, what happens to it? You squander it. It's important that you know when to make that move. You know your talent, you know this is not where I should be. It's not a matter of money now. Because in that knowing is when the money will come. But knowing your talent at the right time, at the right age, is what I call true success. And then building on that talent. So yes, I did make a very brave move. But that was because I wasn't working just because of the money. I was more interested in the value that I was adding. And fulfillment, the potential, that innate talent, because each of us have something in us. And discovering it is extremely important. When we can discover it and make that move, then that is success. And you will just be driven, and you don't know what is driving you, but you're just driven. And you have you can develop your personal goals. So I think, with hindsight, I would do it again if I have to. It's worked, and I know it will keep working, as long as you're doing it for the right reason, and that's the answer that I will give you.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
Salaries are attractive. The money can hold you back. The safety of a job is very difficult to give up. And I agree with you. But nobody is accountable for the call on your life or what you know you can do, like you. And sometimes you've just got to take the risk. And entrepreneurship, like I said, she used the word for you. It's an adventure. You don't always know. Same as you don't know if you'll have your job tomorrow. Because if you have the opportunity and you give it up because you want the safety of a job, what happens if you come to work tomorrow and there's a letter on your table? And it says, sorry, job over. And the opportunity window has also closed. It's a hard question, but a question that at different times, whether you're working now or you're trying to get a job or you're attempting to be an entrepreneur, you're going to always ask. Remember, the totality of your life is what? The summation of all the choices that you will make. Kofo made a choice, and in 14 years, it's paid off. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Kofo.
Send in your comments, questions, and shoutouts to our Facebook page, facebook.com/IgniteTV, Twitter /IgniteTVNG, and check out our website, www.ignite-tv.com